Yo, Still Bills, what's the deal, man? We just got through Monday, top of the week. And my fucking phone just got a crack in it, and I'm not happy about it. So we got to get that shit handled this weekend. But peep game, man, I'm going to talk about something. And I made a status about this on one of the boxing pages on Facebook. And I ain't got too much traffic on that question. So here it goes, a little something like this, because it's in regards to the Turki Sheik Tom and Jerry comment that he made, and why people feel feel some type of way about him making that, like it's somehow inconveniencing fighters of who have a certain fighting identity. And my thing is this. Why is it okay and acceptable for the pressure fighter who doesn't necessarily have the fastest feet or the height and range, the close distance on the fleet-footed fighter? Why is it acceptable for him to be inconvenienced? But it's the biggest issue, and you got to clutch your pearls when a fleet-footed fighter is being put in the 18-foot ring. Now it's all you trying to, everybody ain't punchers, you dig? You trying to get the fighter hurt. Y'all just want to see somebody hurt. Well, I mean, if we being real, we do. That's why we log into the sport. That's why we tune in. This is the shit that we want to see. We want to see the violence and everything that comes with it. Now, do we want to see the nuance and the finesse fighters? Yes, we do. As long as you're giving us proper engagement. You realize this was never an issue to this magnitude until last month. That's when it just became too unbearable. That's when it just became like, all right, bro, this is something has to be done about this, because y'all niggas have, y'all are extorting people. Like, somebody is supposed to come out of pocket to see you, to be bored. Somebody is supposed to be. I have to pay you to be bored. You dig what I'm saying? To watch you. Now, mind you, a lot of you dudes have not garnered no type of grassroots fan base. But y'all feel that y'all have the right to be put behind the paywall because y'all reached a certain status within the small stratosphere of boxing, and that just isn't the case. Motherfuckers paid their hard-earned money to watch that bullshit from last month just to get bored to death, my nigga. Like, that's not the business. That ain't the business at all. That ain't the business at all. So why is it acceptable for the pressure fighter who may not have all the bells and whistles that comes with cutting off the ring and just being fleet-footed? You dig? They just know one direction. They know one direction. Why is it acceptable for them to be inconvenienced, but it's such a crime against humanity for somebody who's fleet-footed to not be inconvenienced? Because the thing is with these cats nowadays in the American public, man, is it was the slick black American, and you slick, like, just because of how Floyd Mayweather fought, which is a very egregious misinterpretation of how he fought. Because Floyd fought like that, y'all niggas had this mindset that if you fight something like that and you disrespect that fighter, that would in turn make you inadvertently disrespect Floyd Mayweather and his approach to fighting. When Floyd didn't fight like that. Floyd didn't fight like that. Floyd didn't fight like he didn't fight fleet-footed like that, especially early on in his career. Did you not see Diego Corrales and goddamn Arturo Gatti? He didn't fight fleet-footed. He didn't start fighting like that until his hands got brittle. So us saying that, we're tired of seeing the fleet-footed fighter, we don't want to see that shit. That's not a shot at Floyd. That's just simply saying, man, I don't want to see that shit. Can we do something else? Come on, man. When Floyd fought Canelo, Floyd didn't, he didn't run around the ring like that. Floyd stayed at a range to where he was close enough to make Canelo miss and make Canelo pay. Or he was close enough to get his shot off, but out of range for Canelo to counter him. Or even get his shot off. Immaculate feat. Immaculate feat. It's not the same what we're seeing these dudes nowadays do. It's not. And people think because you fight like that, that you're this high IQ fighter. And there's just no way in shape in hell. There's no way in hell that a motherfucker can beat. I can't imagine him losing to him because all he does is circle the perimeter of the ring and fight on the go. I was just talking to Art Man today, and I'm like, man, I don't see nothing to be worried about with Williams Zepeda. I'm like, I don't see how you ain't worried about that. The thing, if Williams Zepeda was in front of Keyshawn Davis, I wouldn't be as worried as I am with Shakur. It's just with Shakur, he is, his hands are brittle, and he's not punching like that. That's what makes this fight so dangerous for him. You don't have the power to keep him up. Now, I could be proven wrong. Shakur could go in there and pull a rabbit and knock this dude into the middle of next week. It could happen, or he could be thumping on this dude and, just hold his momentum, his forward progression. It could happen. But historically, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So it's a dangerous fight for Shakur. You dig? But just people just have the, people just have this preconceived notion that if you fight off of your back foot primarily, then that means that you're this high IQ fighter with an incredible boxing acumen, and you're this Swiss Army knife of a fighter. In all actuality, that shows a level of one dimension, being one dimensional. Everybody talks about the pressure fighter, how one dimensional the pressure fighter is, the come forward fighter is, when in all actuality, the dude who circles the perimeter of the ring and don't do nothing else, that's the one dimensional. He's just as one dimensional. Because what happens when that pressure fighter is added, coming with enough pressure to halt you from moving, you know what I'm saying? Just what happens then? What happens when he knows how to, go to the body? What happens when he's guiding you, you know what I'm saying, and holding you to one particular side with his lead hand so he can set up the backhand? Because you're this defensive specialist, or, your defense first, so the minute the glove is touching you, you're panicking. You dig? Your defense mechanism is to shell up. So what happens when he's just gauging you with his lead hand? He just simply has his hand in place where, to kind of muffle your offense so he can go to the body on you, or split an uppercut up the middle on you. What happens when you're in front of a fighter who can do that? When all you know is to circle the perimeter of the ring. Nobody asked him questions, and Turkey isn't telling you not to box. Turkey isn't telling you not to box. He's saying Tom and Jerry, like Tom chases Jerry all over the place. I don't want to see that shit. Motherfuckers running all around the ring. He ain't telling you that you can't use your lateral movement to set up traps. He's not telling you that. He's just simply telling you, I don't want to see you run around the fucking ring all day. I don't see. I made a video about it. There ain't a goddamn thing wrong with that, Brody. It's not. And I personally think that, all right, cool. You gonna make, these are the parameters that you're gonna set for the next. I think he should do 18-foot rings for the next few fights. And if he gets into a rhythm of us giving good fights, all right, cool. I'm gonna reward y'all with a 20-foot ring now. I'll go back to accommodating the fleet-footed fighters. And the minute the fleet-footed fighter reverts back to that bullshit, where he thinks he can win the fight by using his feet instead of his hands, be back in an 18-foot ring. And if we're being real, 18 feet is more than enough room for you to operate. 18 feet is more than enough room for you to operate if you like that. If you high IQ, you're an astute counterpuncher. You have fast feet. You don't just got fast feet moving backwards, but you can use your lateral movement. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can spin an opponent. 18 feet is more than enough room for you to operate. If we're being real. You don't need all that real estate. If you need a whole bunch of real estate, you need a whole 3, 4, 5 feet of ring behind you. That shows a certain level of insecurity with you. That tells me that you're not comfortable enough to get your, who was that? What Andy Cruz did this past weekend. What Andy Cruz did this past weekend, man, where he's able to just simply, right there in the pocket, you slightly get his head off the line and punish you for it. He'll punish you for that. It's still counterpunching right there. You know how composed you gotta be to just slightly get your head off the line and capitalize on the shot right there, make an opponent miss, make him pay right there in the pocket. That shows a certain level of comfort. And oh shit, hold on. I'm back. I'm gonna have to call Shorty back. I don't know what the fuck was on my phone, but that just shows a certain level of comfort with you, with the with the individual, man, where you can make somebody miss and make somebody get paid right there in the pocket. I'm not slipping completely to my side to make sure I'm completely out of the way of a shot. That's a sense of insecurity. That's a sense of not being able to fight comfortably in the pocket. So if you're gonna get mad that the fleet-footed fighter is being inconvenienced, then you should be mad when the pressure fighter is inconvenienced. Don't sit there and laugh at the pressure fighter. Oh, he can't cut off the ring. He can't do this. He can't do that. Learn how to cut off the ring. All right, cool. Now that we in this 18-foot ring, learn how to fight in the pocket. Carlos Gongora and Christian Mobility, if I'm not mistaken, fought. And was that ring smaller when they fought on Eye of the Tiger? When you watch them Eye of the Tiger fights, that is not a 20-foot ring. That's a real small ring. And you see how small, like, damn. Oh, they want somebody to get fucked up in these fights. Because you got to respect the consumer. You got to respect the consumer. You got to respect the viewership. You got to respect the motherfuckers who are paying to see these fights, who are coming to get, purchase tickets to see these fights. They don't want to see you run all over the motherfucking ring. You have to respect that. You got to respect that. You have to respect that. You can't get mad when a motherfucker, you can't do that. You can't do that. You cannot sit here and guilt trip me into wanting to see some motherfuckers circle the perimeter of the ring all night, man. I used to be one of them dudes that said, oh, man, I'ma always respect the sweet science, man. But this is not the sweet science, bro. This is the sour science of boxing. You niggas are not putting punches together. Y'all just doing laps around the ring. Calling it IQ, calling it footwork. That's not versatility, Brody. Caleb Plant can at least fight in the pocket. He just gasses fast. So I'm saying I personally don't give a fuck that y'all are feeling some type of way about this shit, man. I love it. Glad that Turkey is doing this shit. But like I said, when Christian Mobility and fucking Carlos Gongora fought, them niggas was brawling out, and Carlos Gongora was still able to find enough room to take step back, a step back and launch the uppercut up the middle and damn near send Christian Mobility in the air on some Mortal Kombat shit. So it's that clip. If it wasn't a small enough ring for him, and that is a legitimate super middleweight at 6'2", Devin Haney should be all right as a welterweight. Shakur Stevenson should be all right as a lightweight. But I like the fact that just this American, this stigmatism that's attached to American fighters is starting to get challenged now. I love it, because now we're gonna see who can adapt. We're gonna see who can sink and swim. When you are the one being inconvenienced as the fleet-footed fighter, cool, okay, bet. This is what happens when y'all run with this narrative, this slick black American shit. When there's what is a clear contradiction, Shakur is a slick black American. You dig? Tevin Farmer and Danny Jacobs were slick black Americans, Brody. You can sit there, you can fight in the pocket, you can roll with the punches, and you can come back with the hooks. You can roll up under a shot, dig to the liver, slip the shot, come back up with the uppercut up the middle, pocket, phone booth fighting. That shows a certain level of versatility, but it's dope where you can also get on your bike and walk an opponent in the shots. So I'm not mad at it. With Richardson, how Richardson Hitchens fought George Kambosos, if we was getting fights like that from these back foot fighters, I wouldn't be mad at that. If Devin Haney had all the ingredients to give us that type of fight in front of a Jose Ramirez, and he didn't. I don't want to see him again now. I'm cool. No one is telling you that you can't use your movement. What we're saying is, bro, if you're not gonna put punches together off that movement, I have no interest in watching you fight. And I'll be damned if you're gonna guilt trip me into paying to watch you fight when I'm gonna be bored to death. I'm not about to allow you to extort me to watch you fight, bro. I'm just not gonna do it, gang. I'm not. I refuse to. I really refuse to. So I'm saying, man, it is what it is. But don't clutch your pearls when a nigga when the pressure fighter is inconvenient, or when the fleet-footed fighter is inconvenienced, and then ostracize the pressure fighter when he's inconvenienced, but he can't cut off the ring. Okay, well now he can't run around the ring. So what we doing? He can't cut the ring off. He can't run around that shit. What we doing? Let's talk about it. Let's be real for real. So shout out to Turkey, man. I like this idea. I love it. I love it. It is what it is, man. So hey, y'all can be mad at me all you want. Be mad at Turkey. Don't be mad at me, gang. Turkey the one setting the, he's the one that's setting the parameters of the fight, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Maybe next time y'all be a little bit more sensitive to the plight of the, of the pressure fighter. Maybe y'all maybe y'all say, oh man, well let me look at it from their paradigm. Maybe y'all do that then. Maybe not. But if you're not, this is what we get now. You did. You don't get to run. You ain't got a whole another 2, 3, 4, 5 feet at your back to run around the ring no more. The distance between the middle of the ring and the turnbuckle, it ain't as lengthy no more. It ain't as rangy no more. You take a couple of steps back, your ass is on the ropes. Now what? I ain't gotta exert too much energy to track your ass down. Now let's see if you like that. You know what I'm saying? If you that fast on your feet, it should be nothing for you to spin out and pivot out. Create those angles in the pocket. It should be nothing for you to do that, to force an opponent to reset. It should be nothing for you to do that. Or if you're really that deceptive on your feet, you could just keep me off balance from rounds 1 to 12 at 18 feet. Should be able to do that. Did Canelo fight, Billy Joe in a 22-foot ring? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if he did that or not. I don't know. But even with Billy Joe didn't fight like William Skull. Billy Joe was using his feet. He was commanding the middle of the ring, bro. I'm not mad at cats who fight off of the back foot. I'm mad at niggas who fight off of the back foot and use their feet to win the fight as opposed to their hands. That's my biggest beef with back foot fighters. That's my biggest beef. Y'all don't like anything that pertains to America fight, the American fighting style, or the American system when it comes matchmaking. Anything that's a challenge to that. Y'all give resistance to it. Anything that's a challenge to that, y'all give resistance to it. Y'all hate the fact that Turkey is, coming over here with the ambitious matchmaking. Y'all feel, oh man, he's a dictator. We don't need him over here in the ring. We don't need that. He does his fair share of fucked up shit, but he does his fair really dope shit that's conducive to the sport. But it challenges y'all. It challenges because y'all, a lot of y'all niggas is comfortable with just talking about the fight instead of actually seeing the fight. You don't want your favorite fighter to lose, which I don't want my favorite fighter to lose. But if he loses, it is what it is. Y'all would rather the fight stay on paper instead of putting it into action. A lot of y'all make money off of a lot of these fights, man. I forgot, man. Homeboy, I forgot who it was after that Bud and Spence. He was like, I'm done making. I'm done with social media after this shit. Now, possibly, it was a little bit more nuance and more context to the situation as to why he decided to stop making, making content, but it does look like you stopped making content because Earl Spence got smacked on. It does look like that. So that's a lot of y'all niggas paradigms, man. Let's keep the fights. Let's continue to play the guessing game, so we can continue to make money off of the guessing game as opposed to putting these dudes in the ring and, seeing who, may the best man win. You dig? Y'all don't like that. Y'all don't like the ambitious matchmaking. And now when he done said this shit about the Tom and Jerry shit, y'all are automatically taking that as a shot. That's immediately shot, and it's immediately confrontational with black fighters because of the narrative of the slick black American. It's childish as juvenile, man. Shout out to Turkey, man. Shout out to Turkey. And that's all I got to say about it. I'm going to the crib to kick my feet up before I go to the gym. I'll get with y'all later. Deuces.